Travel Adventures with Marilyn and Craig. While researching YouTube on places to travel and things to see, we found some interesting sites. But the information about those locations and what to do once you get there was always a little limited.
I love to take pictures.
And I love shooting video.
And we both love to travel.
So what could be better than to share our travel adventures on YouTube for those of you that want to learn from our experiences? Petra, Jorden, an ancient city carved in stone dating back 2,300 years. Founded by the Nabateans, an Arabic tribe, in 312 BC. It became their capital city and major trading center. This Arab tribe established Petra and developed a rock-cut architecture and sophisticated water management system in the middle of the Arabian Desert. This ancient city and UNESCO historic site is the location of this episode of Travel Adventures with Marilyn and Craig. While the Treasury building is the most photographed and recognizable building in Petra, there is literally hundreds of more buildings. On this travel adventure, we went with Exotica Tours, who made all the arrangements and is a company that we highly recommend. Our guide, Adan Alcasarabasis.
Good morning, how are you?
All the usual suspects.
Was with us the entire tour while in Jorden, but we were only in Petra for 2 days. We spoke to our guide about his background.
I'm a Jordanian. I live in the countryside, born in 1967, finished high school in 1985. I went to United States to study there. I graduated from Bars College, St. Louis University, 1992. My major was an aircraft maintenance engineer. Came back to Jordan, no jobs. Started working as a tour guide, 1996.
And how do you like it so far?
I love it so much.
Yeah?
I love this job. I've been doing it for 27 years.
The Visitor Center is a modern facility with restaurants, maps, guide services, and admission ticket sales. It also has a variety of souvenir shops and outdoor concessions. The walk from the Visitor Center to the iconic Petra Treasury is a long way, I would say at least a half a mile, and that's the closest and most famous building. Our guide wanted to give everyone an idea of how far they would have to walk, and he took us to a walled mural of the whole historic site. It showed the different buildings and the walking distances.
So the distance from here, one way, 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles. Round trip will be 8 kilometers, 5 miles. So after here, after lunch, you have a think time.
Then we were on our way through the entry gate with hundreds of our newest best friends.
On the top of the high
Petra is rich in history, and our guide took every opportunity to enlighten us throughout our stroll to the Treasury.
In order to go there, you need 6 hours.
He was very aware of the wide range of ages of the people on our tour and made it a point not to leave anyone behind.
In 1999, he became a tour guide.
One of our group couldn't wait to hire a horse to eliminate the long walk and get to the Treasury faster. There is a variety of modes of transportation if you don't want to walk. Horseback, camel, donkey, donkey carts, and even golf carts. but most people walk. Coming back at the end of the day is a totally different story. It's not long before we reach the famous red sandstone rocks and canyons that are carved by water and the erosion of time. While the Treasury is the most famous building in Petra, there are what appears to be cave dwellings peppered everywhere on the walk to the Treasury. Those caves were people's homes. It's easy to tell the houses of the rich from the poor. All along the way, local merchants have shops to sell you souvenirs and newly made priceless artifacts. There is always a couple of Roman soldiers around to have your picture taken with. The closer we walked towards the Treasury, the more elaborate the homes became. The carvings and also the walls became steeper in the canyon.
أربعة الله وكيلك تاوشوا عند الباص كانوا. أربعة اللي كانوا عند الباص، بدي السؤال. محمود. أربع شباب كانوا عند الباص. So ladies and gentlemen, what you see here, two more dams. Both walls were reconstructed, mainly to prevent flash flood and to collect water.
As we got closer, the pace became faster with anticipation. And then suddenly, there was the sun on the Treasury and our first glimpse, the sight we had all traveled so far to see. Finally, the sandstone canyon opened up to reveal the famous and beautiful Petra Treasury. In front of that was a large and sprawling square with a beehive of activity. Everyone was jockeying for position to get their perfect selfie or perfect postcard picture. One of the best vantage points and best places to take an unobscured picture of the Treasury is from a cliff that overlooks the whole square. But it is a very difficult and dangerous climb for young people, not to mention an old guy like me. Here's a picture from that view. Some of these ancient dwellings are still used as businesses and stables. These donkeys are used to transport tourists further up the valley to explore more ruins. There are at least 100 camels located at the Treasury, and the perfect place to have your picture taken in front of the iconic landmark. And it's impossible to take a bad picture. Just getting on a camel is half the fun. Hold on tight. The camel wranglers are negotiable on their prices and are pretty good photographers too with your phone. There's not a bad picture of the Treasury. Many people only walk as far as the world-famous Treasury building. They have their pictures taken and then return to the city. The cave dwellings were all over the cliffs. There were actually several levels of dwellings, like floors on a building, and they cut stairs into the rocks. This gate was erected to protect the ruins from tourists climbing all over them. This was one of many of the water recovery and retention areas. This ancient city had all the conveniences of home. The further we went up the valley, the more elaborate the buildings became, with what appeared to be sandstone high-rises. What's a high-rise condo without a convenience store? All right behind me is a whole bunch of what appears to be holes in the wall. That was actually homes. People lived in there. I mean, they were obviously the original cave dwellers. But if you look up a little bit higher up there, that's kind of the high rent district, and those ended up being tombs primarily. But there is all kinds of caves around here, some of them a little bit more sophisticated than others, and whatnot. So once again, here we're in Petra, very interesting place. So those people right there are climbing up to a place where they're going to have some kind of a sacrifice. And ultimately, that is where they're going to come out at. Petra is a large area and covers hundreds of acres. Although it's a UNESCO site, there are few restrictions and tourists are able to roam at will. Goats seem to be the current residents of many of the dwellings. This is the main boulevard and pedestrian road. This gives you a good idea of how much walking is involved if you choose to see all the sights.
These are the Roman gates.
In 106 AD, the Romans invaded and annexed Petra. You can see the Roman influence throughout the city, including the famous Roman gates. So here we are at Petra, and right behind me is nothing that was built by the Jordanians. Those are Roman ruins. They got all over the Middle East, and they came into this area as well. So the Romans actually have ruins within this boundary of Petra, where we have the Treasury and the monastery and all those other things that is famous for Petra. At the end of the valley, there are several restaurants and places to get a cold drink. This is also the place to make a very important decision, whether to turn around and go back or to continue up the trail, walk up countless steps, and walk another mile or so into yet another valley. We decided to turn back. We were hot and tired, and remember, we had to walk all the way back. We decided to turn around. Petra is a fabulous place, and I can't recommend it enough. If you love history, I recommend that you hire a guide. They will not only give you the rich history of the city, but will also be able to help you navigate around the area, deal with the vendors, the restaurants, and the camel jockeys. After the force marched back to Treasury Square, we hired a golf cart to take us back to the main entrance. This approximately 15-minute golf cart ride was a relief and a pleasure after a hard day. Apparently, hitchhiking is allowed, and we were glad to help. Riding backwards on a golf cart is a fun way to see where you've been. It took over an hour to walk to the Treasury through the red sandstone canyons, but less than 15 minutes to get back. Most of the footpath was flat, but from time to time there are cobblestones. Be careful, it's easy to twist an ankle. My only regret is that I didn't have more time to explore the vast network of ruins and maybe even walk the extra miles to explore the monastery. Petra is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and it's easy to see why. If you have an opportunity to go there, you won't be disappointed.